The Reserve Bank of Australia is expected to confirm a seventh consecutive rate rise when it meets today, putting more pressure on households before Christmas. Political reporter Olivia Caisley joins us live from Canberra. So, Olivia, how much? That's the big question. Are they set to rise?
Well, economists are predicting a Melbourne Cup Day interest rate hike of 0.25%, while others are saying it could even go as far as raising by 0.5%. So just to put this into context for you, a 25 basis point hike would see the annual cost of servicing a typical $500,000 mortgage go up by $10,000. And Treasurer Jim Chalmers says he's well aware of the pressures facing households and he's closely keeping an eye on what's going on overseas.
Even with that peak towards the end of the year, the composition of that inflation is changing. Petrol prices came off quicker than what was anticipated in the middle of the year. And so that's helped us on the inflation front. But natural disasters have added to it and energy's become a bigger part of it. So we're broadly aware over time that energy was going to be a bigger and bigger part of the challenge. But we got those specific numbers that you're referring to particularly late in the budget process.
Olivia, there's also talks of a multi-million-dollar campaign against Labor's industrial relations reform. So who is behind that push?
Well, mining, oil and gas companies are threatening to launch a multi-million-dollar campaign against Labor's new industrial relations reform. So they were introduced to Parliament last week and they're designed to force up wages, especially for women and those in the care industries. But there are some contentious elements and also there are concerns that it's being rushed through Parliament too quickly. So the energy and resources sector want to be exempt from the multi-workplace bargaining arrangements, and they're saying that they want to launch a bigger campaign than the mining tax fight that they launched during the 2010s and which contributed to the downfall of former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd. Now, Treasurer Jim Chalmers says that the involvement of the Fair Work Commission will actually be a positive, and it will mean that there'll be less industrial action. So he tried to give more of a positive spin this morning. This is what he had to say.
I genuinely believe that the way that this has been designed is not about more conflict, it's about more agreement. One of the things that has been raised as an issue of concern is more of a role for the Fair Work Commission. I see that as a plus. And I see that as a hedge against what businesses have raised as a concern about more industrial action.
Liberal Senator Holly Hughes says she's concerned, though, that this legislation could actually intensify cost of living pressures.
What you're going to see at the moment, you've got the Reserve Bank looking at another interest rate rise, you've got inflation at high levels that you never saw under our government, and you've got energy prices going up, you've got grocery and all those additional daily costs going up. They will only become worse under these sort of IR reforms.
The Secure Work Better Pay bill is being scrutinised by a parliamentary inquiry. They'll hand down their report on November 17. So there's still just enough time to get this legislation passed this year. That is, of course, if Labor can win over the crossbenchers and get their support.